Admiral Kate Morrison stood on the bridge of her flagship, watching the tactical display with growing horror. Red dots filled the screen, each one representing a Zephyrian warship. There were hundreds of them, maybe thousands. The blue dots that showed coalition ships were disappearing one by one. "Another cruiser down," reported Communications Officer Lisa Grant, her voice shaking. "The CNS Liberty just went dark. No survivors." Kate closed her eyes for a moment. The Liberty had 800 crew members. Good people, friends, all gone in seconds when the Zephyrian plasma cannons tore through their shields like paper. "Admiral, the enemy fleet is moving toward Sector 7, said Captain Ryan Blake over the com from his ship, the CNS Defender. "They're heading straight for the colonies." Kate opened her eyes and looked at the display again. The Zephyrian ships moved like a swarm of insects, but these insects were each the size of a city. Their biomechanical hulls pulsed with alien life. Worse, they learned from every battle. Each time the coalition tried a new tactic, the enemy ships adapted within minutes. "How many ships do we have left?" Kate asked. 43 combat vessels still operational," replied her tactical officer. "You started this battle with 200. The bridge fell silent, except for the soft beeping of alerts. Everyone knew what those numbers meant. The Coalition Defense Force was dying. On the main screen, Kate watched another ship explode. The CNS Valor, a heavy cruiser that had served for 20 years, simply vanished in a ball of green fire. Its shields had held for maybe 10 seconds against the Zephyrian weapons. "Ma'am, incoming message from Fleet Command," Lisa said. "Admiral, Stone wants to speak with you." Kate straightened her uniform and nodded. "Put him through." The screen flickered, showing the tired face of Fleet Commander Alex Stone. Behind him, the Coalition's war room buzzed with desperate activity. Officers ran between workstations, shouting orders and receiving bad news. "Kate, what's your status?" Alex asked, though his expression showed he already knew. "We're losing, sir, badly. The Zephyrian ships are too strong. Our weapons barely scratch them, and their plasma cannons cut through our best shields like they're not even there." Alex rubbed his forehead. "The outer colonies are evacuating, but they need more time. Can you hold the line?" Kate looked at her display again. 43 ships against thousands. "We'll try, sir, but I need to be honest. We won't last much longer." "I know." Alex's voice was heavy. "Kate, there might be something. Dr. Elena Wade has been researching old files. She thinks she found something that might help." "What kind of something?" "An old ship. Ancient. Human-built, but from before. Our time. Way before. It's been sitting in a classified research station for decades." Kate frowned. "Sir, with respect, we need ships that can fight, not museum pieces." "That's what I thought, too. But Elena thinks this ship is different. Special. She's on her way. To check it out now." Another explosion lit up the screen as the CNS Thunder disappeared. Kate felt sick. That was another 600 people gone. "Admiral, the enemy is accelerating," reported her tactical officer. "They'll reach the colony worlds in 18 hours. Alex heard the report through the com. "Kate, I'm ordering you to fall back to the inner systems. Try to buy Elena time." "Understood." "Sir." The connection ended, leaving Kate alone with her terrible choices. Fall back and let the outer colonies burn, or stay and watch her remaining ships die for nothing. "Admiral," Ryan Blake's voice came over the com again. "My sensors are picking up something strange. The Zephyrian ships are doing something new." Kate switched to Ryan's sensor feed. The enemy vessels were clustering together, their biomechanical hulls pulsing in unison. She had seen this before, during the Battle of Kepler Station. It meant they were about to evolve again. "All ships, prepare for adaptive reconfiguration. Kate announced over the fleet channel. "The enemy is changing tactics." As she watched, the Zephyrian ships began to shift. Their hulls rippled like liquid metal, growing new weapons and stronger armor. In just minutes, they would be even more deadly than before. Dr. Elena Wade sat in her shuttle, racing through space toward the hidden research station. She had spent years studying the old records, the classified files that most people forgot existed. The ancient ship they had found 50 years ago was more than just a relic. She was sure of it. The shuttle's pilot, a young man named Danny Foster, checked their navigation. "Doc, we'll reach the station in 6 hours. Think this mystery ship of yours can really help?" Elena looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, Kate Morrison and her brave crews were dying to buy them time. "I hope so, Danny. I really hope so." Back in the battle zone, Kate watched her ships form a defensive line. They were outnumbered 20 to 1, maybe more. But they were human, and humans didn't give up easily. "All ships, this is Admiral Morrison," she announced. "We're going to make our stand here. Every minute we hold them is another minute for the colonies to evacuate. Every shot we fire is for the people counting on us." The Zephyrian fleet finished its transformation and began moving forward. Their new weapons glowed with deadly energy. Kate knew this might be the last battle for the Coalition Defense Force. "Here they come," Lisa whispered. Kate stood straight, her hands clasped behind her back. "Then let's show them what humans are made of." The first enemy shots lit up space. Like lightning, the real battle was about to begin. 50 years earlier, Jake Henderson was having the worst day of his life. His mining ship had broken down in the middle of nowhere, and he was running low on food. The void sector was empty space, far from any trade routes or help. Most people avoided this area because there was nothing here worth finding. Jake floated in his small ship, trying to fix the engine for the 3rd time. He was a salvage operator, someone who found old wrecks and sold the metal. It was lonely work, but it paid well enough. At least it did when his ship actually worked. "Come on, you piece of junk," he muttered, hitting the engine with his wrench. "Just get me home." His scanner beeped. Jake looked at the display and frowned. There was something big out there, hidden in an asteroid field. The readings were strange. The object was made of metal, but not any kind he recognized. Jake forgot about his broken engine. Finding something unusual could mean a lot of money. He fired up his backup thrusters and headed toward the signal. What he found made him forget how to breathe. The ship was enormous, easily 3 times larger than any vessel Jake had ever seen. It floated silently among the asteroids, dark and mysterious. Its hull was smooth and black, with strange curves that seemed to flow like water. There were no visible weapons or engines, but something about the ship felt powerful. Jake had been finding old wrecks for 20 years, but this was different. The ship looked ancient, but also somehow new. Its metal skin didn't have a single scratch or dent. No rust, no damage from space debris. It was perfect. He took pictures and sent them to the Coalition authorities. Within hours, 3 military ships arrived with a team of scientists and security officers. Dr. Helen Carter was the lead scientist on the team. She was an archaeologist who studied old human settlements and artifacts. When she saw Jake's pictures, she knew this was the discovery of a lifetime. "My God," she whispered when she first saw the ship in person. "What is this thing?" The vessel was clearly human-built. The design had familiar elements, but they were arranged in ways that seemed impossible. The ship's hull curved in directions that hurt to look at, as if it existed in more than 3 dimensions. Security Chief Paul Adams organized teams to board the mysterious vessel. The ship had no visible entrances, but Dr. Carter found a section of hull that responded to her touch. A doorway simply appeared, opening without sound. Inside, the ship was even stranger. The corridors were too wide and too tall for normal humans. Soft light came from the walls themselves, with no visible source. Strange symbols covered every surface, looking almost familiar but impossible to read. "These markings," Dr. Carter said, running her fingers over the symbols. "They're definitely human, but I've never seen this language before." Engineer Danny Foster, who had come with the research team, studied the ship's systems. What he found made no sense. The technology was beyond anything humans had ever built. Power conduits that seemed to bend space around them. Computer systems that appeared to work by manipulating time itself. "Doc, you need to see this," Danny called from what looked like the bridge. The command center was a circular room with a single chair in the center. Around the chair, holographic displays showed star charts and data streams. But the most amazing thing was the view screen. It showed Earth, perfectly clear and detailed, as if the ship were orbiting it right now. "That's impossible," Dr. Carter breathed. "We're thousands of light years from Earth." Danny checked his instruments. "According to these readings, the ship is somehow seeing Earth in real time. The technology to do that doesn't exist." Dr. Carter approached the captain's chair carefully. The moment she got close, the entire bridge came alive. Lights pulsed along the walls, and new displays appeared in the air around her. But when she tried to sit in the chair, nothing happened. "It's waiting for something," she said, "or someone." The research team spent months studying the ship. They named it the USS Eternity because it seemed to exist outside of normal time. Carbon dating was impossible because the ship's materials didn't age like normal matter. Some tests suggested the vessel was thousands of years old. Others indicated it had been built yesterday. The ship's computer systems were encrypted beyond anything the Coalition could break. The power source was a mystery that defied all known physics. It appeared to be some kind of controlled black hole contained in a crystal matrix that shouldn't be able to exist. Dr. Carter wrote report after report, but she never felt like she understood the ship. "It's like trying to describe color to someone who was born blind," she told her team. "We don't have the concepts to understand what we're looking at." The ship's AI remained completely dormant despite every attempt to activate it. The research team tried everything they could think of. They ran power through the systems, tried voice commands in dozens of languages, even played music to see if the ship would respond. Nothing worked. One night, Dr. Carter was alone on the ship, studying the symbols on the bridge walls. She had been working for 14 hours straight, trying to find some pattern or meaning in the strange markings. "What are you?" she asked the empty bridge. "Why are you here?" For just a moment, she thought she heard something. A whisper, so quiet she might have imagined it. But the words seemed clear in her mind. "Waiting." Dr. Carter spun around, but the bridge was empty. The ship's systems hummed quietly, unchanged. She wrote down what she thought she heard, but the next morning she wondered if she had just been too tired. The research project continued for 3 more years. The Coalition's best scientists and engineers studied every inch of the USS Eternity. They learned to navigate its corridors and operate some of its simpler systems. But the ship's real secrets remained locked away. Eventually, the project was classified as a failure. The ship was too advanced, too strange for current human technology to understand. It was moved to Research Station Omega, a secret facility in the Kepler Nebula. Only 12 people in the entire Coalition knew it existed. Dr. Carter's final report was just 3 words: still waiting. But for what? The USS Eternity sat in its hidden dock, dark and silent. Its hull absorbed the light from the stations, lamps making it seem more like a hole in space than a ship. A research team was reassigned to other projects. The ancient vessel was forgotten by almost everyone. But Dr. Elena Wade, a young scientist who had read Dr. Carter's reports, never forgot. She kept copies of all the research files. She studied the pictures and data whenever she had time. Something about the ship called to her, like a puzzle that demanded to be solved. Years passed. Dr. Wade became one of the Coalition's top xenobiologists. She studied alien life forms and technologies from across the galaxy. But she never stopped thinking about the mysterious ship in the Kepler Nebula. Now, as the Zephyrian Empire threatened to destroy everything humans had built, Elena finally understood what the USS Eternity had been waiting for. It had been waiting for this moment, this crisis, this desperate hour when humanity needed a miracle. She just hoped she was right. Dr. Elena Wade's shuttle raced through the colorful gas clouds of the Kepler Nebula. Behind her, the war was getting worse by the hour. Admiral Morrison's fleet was fighting desperately, but everyone knew they couldn't hold out much longer. "Doc, are you sure about this?" asked Danny Foster, the shuttle pilot. He was the same engineer who had studied the mysterious ship years ago. "That old thing has been sitting dead for 50 years. Elena stared out at the swirling colors of the nebula. "It's not dead, Danny. It's sleeping. There's a difference." Research Station Omega appeared through the gas clouds like a ghost. The station was small and hidden, designed to keep the USS Eternity secret from the rest of the galaxy. Only a skeleton. Crew maintained the facility now. Station Commander Ben Rogers met them at the docking bay. He was an older man who had been guarding the ancient ship for 20 years. "Dr. Wade, I got your emergency orders. But I have to ask, are you really planning to try flying that thing?" "If it will start," Elena said. "Ben, how many people know we're here?" "Just my crew. 12 people total. We've kept the secret all." "These years?" Elena nodded. "Good, because if this works, everything is about to change." They took a transport through the station's corridors to the main hangar. When the doors opened, Elena saw the USS Eternity for the first time in person. The ship was even more impressive than the photos had shown. The vessel floated in the center of the massive hangar bay, held by gravity anchors. Its black hull seemed to absorb all light that touched it. Strange curves and angles made it hard to focus on, as if the ship existed partially outside normal space. "Every time I look at it, I see something different," Ben said quietly. "Sometimes I think it's looking back." Elena approached the ship carefully. Dr. Carter's old reports had mentioned that the hull responded to human touch. She placed her hand on the smooth surface and waited. Nothing happened for several seconds. Then, slowly, a doorway began to form. The metal seemed to flow like liquid, creating an opening just large enough for a person to walk through. "I never get used to that," Ben muttered. Inside the ship, Elena felt the same sense of wonder that Dr. Carter had described. The corridors were too large, as if built for giants. Soft light came from the walls themselves, and strange symbols covered every surface. "The bridge is this way," Danny said, leading them through passages that seemed to shift and change when they weren't looking directly at them. The command center was exactly as Dr. Carter had described it. A single chair sat in the center of the circular room, surrounded by dark displays and control panels. The moment Elena entered, she felt something change. The air itself seemed to hum with potential energy. "Try touching the controls," Elena suggested to Danny. Danny approached one of the dark panels and placed his hand on it. Nothing happened. Elena tried next, with the same result. Then Ben stepped forward. "What the hell?" he said, pressing his palm against the largest display. The bridge exploded into light and sound. Every panel came alive with information. Holographic displays filled the air around them. The captain's chair began to glow with a soft blue radiance. "It's responding to you, Ben," Elena said excitedly. "Try sitting in the chair." Ben looked nervous. "Doc, I'm just a station commander. I fix air recyclers and manage supply schedules. You're also the person who's been taking care of this ship for 20 years. Maybe that matters." Ben walked slowly toward the glowing chair. The moment he sat down, everything changed. The ship's systems came online with a sound like distant thunder. Displays showed star charts, tactical information, and streams of data, in languages that didn't exist. Then a voice spoke, clear and strong. "AEGI's online. Temporal Displacement Protocol complete. Guardian vessel USS Eternity ready for activation." The three humans stared at each other in shock. The ship's AI had been silent for 50 years, and now it spoke perfect English. Hello?" Ben said uncertainly. "Greetings, Commander Rogers. I have been monitoring your care of this vessel. Your dedication is noted and appreciated." Elena stepped forward. "Aegis, I'm Dr. Elena Wade. We need your help. Humanity is under attack. I am aware of the current situation. Dr. Wade, the Zephyrian Empire represents a Class 5 extinction threat to human civilization. This is why I was sent back." "Sent back?" Danny asked. "From where?" "From the future engineer Foster. This vessel originates from a timeline where humanity faced annihilation. I was created to prevent that outcome by providing advanced defensive capabilities at the moment of greatest need." Elena felt her heart racing. "You're from the future? How far in the future?" "Approximately 3,000 years from your current time frame. In my original timeline, the Zephyrian Empire succeeded in destroying human civilization. This vessel was sent back to change that outcome." Ben gripped the arms of the captain's chair. Information was flowing into his mind from the ship's systems. He could see tactical displays, weapon specifications, and strategic data that he somehow understood perfectly. "AEGI. Why didn't you activate before now?" Elena asked. "The activation protocols required specific conditions. A Class 5 or higher threat to human survival, combined with human operators who demonstrated the necessary qualities of leadership and sacrifice. Commander Rogers' decades of faithful service, combined with the current crisis, have triggered full activation." The ship began to hum with power. Ben could feel the engines coming online, systems that worked by bending space and time itself. The USS Eternity was no longer just an ancient mystery. It was becoming a weapon of incredible power. "Dr. Wade, I must inform you that full operation of this vessel requires a neural link between the ship's AI and a human commander. This process will permanently alter the chosen individual's consciousness." Elena looked at Ben, who was already changing. His eyes glowed with the same blue light as the chair. Information from 3,000 years of human advancement was flowing into his mind. "Ben, are you okay?" "I'm more than okay," Ben said, his voice carrying new authority. "I can see everything. Past, present, and multiple possible futures. The Zephyrian fleet, Admiral Morrison's desperate fight, the colonies that need protection. I understand now." Ben stood up from the chair, but the connection remained. The ship's systems responded to his thoughts as naturally as moving his own body. "EGI, can we reach the battle zone in time?" "Quantum fold drive is optimal. We can arrive at the conflict zone in 47 minutes." Elena felt hope for the first time in days. "Ben, you don't have to do this. The neural link might be permanent." Ben smiled, and for a moment he looked like the simple station commander he had been minutes before. "Elena, I've been taking care of this ship for 20 years. Now it's time for the ship to take care of humanity." The USS Eternity began to move. Gravity anchors released automatically as the ancient vessel lifted off the hangar deck. The ship's hull began to glow with inner light, and space around it seemed to ripple. Like water. "All personnel, this is Commander Rogers," Ben announced over the station's communication system. "Prepare for quantum fold activation. We're going to war." The ship that had waited 50 years for this moment was finally ready to fulfill its destiny. In the depths of space, Admiral Morrison's fleet was fighting its last battle. But help was coming from the past and future both. The USS Eternity disappeared into quantum fold, leaving only ripples in spacetime to mark its passage. The war was about to change forever. The USS Eternity floated peacefully among the wreckage of the Zephyrian fleet. Its black hull no longer pulsed with weapon energy, but soft blue light still flowed across its surface like gentle water. The ancient ship looked almost alive as it moved slowly through space, checking on the survivors. Admiral Kate Morrison stood on her bridge, trying to understand what had just happened. 3 hours ago, the Coalition Defense Force was facing complete destruction. Now the most powerful invasion fleet in galactic history was either destroyed or surrendering. "Admiral, I'm receiving surrender broadcasts from 2,000 Zephyrian vessels," reported Lisa Grant. "The rest appear to be destroyed." Kate nodded slowly. 2,000 survivors out of 10,000 ships. The USS Eternity had been thorough, but not cruel. It had given every enemy vessel a chance to surrender before destroying it. Captain Ryan Blake's voice came over the communication system. "Admiral, the mysterious ship is requesting permission to dock with us." "Granted," Kate said. Immediately. She needed answers, and whoever commanded the USS Eternity clearly had them. The ancient vessel moved alongside Kate's flagship with impossible grace. It didn't use visible engines or thrusters, but simply glided through space as if the laws of physics were optional. A docking tube extended from its hull, connecting to the Coalition ship with a soft hiss of equalizing pressure. Ben Rogers walked through the docking tube, followed by Dr. Elena Wade and Danny Foster. Kate was surprised to see that the commander of humanity's most powerful ship looked like an ordinary middle-aged man, except for his eyes. They glowed with a soft blue light that seemed to hold the wisdom of ages. "Admiral Morrison," Ben said, extending his hand. "It's an honor to meet you. Your courage in the face of impossible odds is exactly why humanity will survive and thrive among the stars." Kate shook his hand, feeling a strange warmth pass between them. "Commander Rogers, I have so many questions I don't know where to start." "I understand. Dr. Wade can explain the technical details, but the simple truth is this. The USS Eternity is a guardian vessel sent back in time to protect humanity from extinction-level threats." Dr. Elena Wade stepped forward. "Admiral, the ship comes from a timeline 3,000 years in our future. In that timeline, the Zephyrian Empire succeeded in destroying human civilization. The survivors built the Eternity and sent it back to prevent that outcome. Captain Ryan Blake had joined them in the conference room, along with several other Coalition officers. They listened in amazement as Elena explained the ship's true nature. "Time travel," Ryan said slowly. "That's actually possible?" Ben nodded. "For sufficiently advanced technology, yes. But the USS Eternity isn't just a ship. It's a repository of 3 millennia of human scientific advancement. Medicine, engineering, physics, even art and philosophy. Everything our species learned in the future timeline is stored in a EGI. AEGIs? Kate asked. The ship's artificial intelligence. Advanced Earth Guardian Intelligence System. It's not just a computer. It's the collective wisdom of future humanity, condensed into a form that can guide and protect us." Danny Foster, who had been quiet until now, spoke up. Ben, what happens now? The war is over, but you're still connected to that ship. Are you even still human? Ben smiled, and for a moment he looked exactly like the simple station commander he had been hours before. I'm still me, Danny, but I'm also more. I can see possible futures, understand technologies that won't be invented for centuries, and feel the needs of every human in the galaxy. It's overwhelming sometimes, but it's also beautiful. AEGI spoke through the ship's communication system, its voice calm and reassuring. Commander Rogers retains his humanity while gaining access to advanced capabilities. This symbiosis allows the USS Eternity to function as humanity's guardian, while maintaining the emotional and moral compass that makes humans unique. War Commander Ziegler had been brought aboard under guard. He stood in the corner of the room, his 6 arms bound with energy restraints. His metal teeth clicked nervously as he watched the humans discuss impossible technologies. You, Ben said, turning to the Zephyrian leader. Your empire made a critical error. You assumed humans were just another primitive species to be conquered. Ziegler's voice was bitter. Your ship is beyond our understanding. What are you going to do with us? That depends on you, Ben replied. The USS Eternity's mission is to protect humanity, not to conquer other species. Your surviving ships will be allowed to return to Zephyrian space, but with a warning. Ben's eyes began to glow brighter as he accessed the ship's vast databases. AEGIS has analyzed your entire civilization. We know about your other military fleets, your homeworld's location, and your plans for future expansion. If you ever threaten humanity again, the response will be swift and final. The Zephyrian commander's metal skin paled. You would destroy our entire species? If necessary to protect innocent life, yes. But we would prefer cooperation. Your biotechnology could be useful for medical applications. Our advanced physics could help your people explore the galaxy peacefully. The choice is yours. Dr. Elena Wade was studying readings from her portable scanner. Ben, the ship's quantum signature is incredible. It's generating fields that shouldn't be possible with any known technology. The USS Eternity operates partially outside normal spacetime, Ben explained. It can be in multiple locations simultaneously, communicate instantly across any distance, and manipulate matter at the quantum level. But the most important thing it carries is hope. Admiral Kate Morrison looked out the viewport at the ancient ship. Hope? Yes, the knowledge that no matter how dark things get, humanity will find a way to survive and protect itself. The USS Eternity is proof that our species has a future worth fighting for. Over the following hours, coalition ships began arriving to help process the surrendering Zephyrian vessels. News of the victory spread across human space at light speed. The colonies that had been preparing for evacuation began to celebrate instead. Ben Rogers stood on the bridge of the USS Eternity, watching the rescue operations. Dr. Wade and Danny Foster were already studying the ship's systems, trying to understand technologies that were centuries ahead of their time. AEGIs. Are there other Guardian ships? Ben asked. Yes, Commander. The USS Eternity is the first of 7 vessels sent back to key moments in human history. The others will activate when they are needed most. Ben nodded. He could sense the other ships now, sleeping in hidden locations throughout the galaxy, waiting for moments when humanity would face extinction and need protection. What's our next mission? To ensure that the future timeline that created us never comes to pass. Humanity must grow strong enough to protect itself without needing Guardian ships from the future. Admiral Morrison's voice came over the communication system. Commander Rogers, on behalf of the entire coalition, I want to thank you. But I have to ask, will you stay with us? Ben looked out at the stars, seeing not just their light, but the infinite possibilities they represented. The USS Eternity, We'll remain in human space as long as we're needed. We'll help you rebuild, share what knowledge we safely can, and protect you from threats you're not ready to face." He paused, feeling the weight of his new responsibilities. "But our real job is to make sure that someday you won't need us at all." The ancient ship began to move, heading toward the outer edge of the system. It would patrol the borders of human space, a silent guardian watching for dangers in the dark. The war that nearly ended human civilization had instead marked the beginning of humanity's true journey to the star's dot in the depths of space. 6 other guardian ships waited in quantum sleep, ready to awaken when their time came. But for now, one was enough. The USS Eternity glided through the cosmos, carrying the hopes and dreams of a species that refused to surrender. Humanity's future had never looked brighter. Admiral Kate Morrison watched her fleet die ship by ship. The Zephyrian war vessels moved through space like living nightmares, their biomechanical hulls pulsing with alien life. Every time the Coalition tried a new attack pattern, the enemy ships learned and adapted within minutes. "The CNS Ranger is gone," reported Lisa Grant, her voice barely a whisper. "That's our 31st ship lost." Kate gripped the railing of her bridge. 31 ships. Thousands of good people dead. And still the enemy kept coming. The Zephyrian fleet stretched across space like a dark cloud, easily 10,000 vessels strong. Captain Ryan Blake's voice crackled over the communication system from his ship, the CN's Defender. "Admiral, my sensors show the enemy is preparing for another evolution cycle. They're clustering again." Kate looked at her tactical display. The alien ships were indeed grouping together, their hulls beginning to ripple and change. She had seen this before. When the Zephyrians evolved, they became even deadlier. War Commander Ziegther stood on the bridge of his flagship, a massive bioship that pulsed with green veins of energy. He was tall and thin, with 6 arms and skin that looked like living metal. His race had conquered dozens of worlds, and humans would be no different. "Status of the evolution cycle," he commanded in a voice that sounded like grinding stone. "Adaptation to human weapons 90% complete," reported his tactical officer. "New plasma cannons will be 3 times more powerful. Shield modifications will make us immune to their energy weapons." Ziegther's mouth opened in what might have been a smile, showing rows of sharp metal teeth. "Excellent. Begin final assault. I want every human ship destroyed within the hour." The Zephyrian fleet began to move forward, their newly evolved weapons charging with deadly energy. Kate Morrison knew this was the end. Her 12 remaining ships couldn't possibly stop 10,000 enemy vessels. "All ships, prepare for final stand," she announced over the fleet channel. "It's been an honor serving with you all." Ryan Blake was about to respond when his sensor officer shouted in surprise. "Captain, something's happening. I'm reading a massive space-time distortion. On every ship in both fleets, alarms began sounding. Space itself seemed to twist and bend near the battle zone. Stars flickered and shifted as reality warped around an invisible point. Then the USS Eternity appeared. The ancient ship dropped out of quantum fold directly between the 2 fleets. It was enormous, easily twice the size of the largest Zephyrian vessel. Its black hull seemed to absorb light itself, and strange energies played across its surface like liquid lightning. Kate Morrison stared at her main screen in amazement. "What in God's name is that?" The mysterious ship hung in space, perfectly still. It made no threatening moves, fired no weapons. But somehow its very presence made the space around it feel different, dangerous. War Commander Ziegther was the first to break the stunned silence. "Unknown vessel, identify yourself or be destroyed." A new voice answered over all communication channels, calm and confident. "This is Commander Ben Rogers of the USS Eternity, humanity's guardian vessel. Zephyrian fleet, you are ordered to withdraw from human space immediately. Ziegther's metal teeth clicked together in anger. One ship against 10,000? Your species grows more foolish by the hour. This is your only warning, Ben replied. Leave now, or face the consequences. The war commander's response was swift and brutal. All ships, focus fire on the human vessel. Destroy it completely. Thousands of plasma beams and bioweapons fired at once, converging on the USS Eternity from every direction. The combined firepower was enough to vaporize a small moon. Kate Morrison closed her eyes, expecting to see the brave unknown ship obliterated dot instead. Something impossible happened. The USS Eternity simply absorbed every attack. The plasma beam struck its hull and disappeared, as if the ship were drinking the energy. Bioweapons dissolved before they could make contact. The ancient vessel didn't even seem to notice it was being shot at. Impossible, Ziegther hissed. No shields can withstand that much firepower. Ben Rogers' voice came over the communication channels again, still perfectly calm. I warned you. AEGIS. Activate primary weapons. The USS Eternity's hull began to glow with inner light. Sections of the ship opened to reveal weapons that looked like works of art, crystalline structures that bent light around them, tubes that seemed to contain small stars, devices that made space itself ripple with power. Target the largest enemy vessels first, Ben commanded. Minimize casualties where possible. The ancient ship's first weapon fired a beam of pure white light. The beam struck the largest Zephyrian bioship, and the massive vessel simply ceased to exist. One moment it was there. The next moment there was only empty space. War Commander Ziegther's flagship shook as nearby ships began exploding. The USS Eternity's weapons were unlike anything he had ever seen. They didn't just destroy ships, they unmade them. Some beams aged enemy hulls to dust in seconds. Others created tiny black holes that collapsed entire vessels from within. Evasive. Maneuvers, Ziegther screamed, all ships scatter. But the USS Eternity was everywhere at once. Its weapons fired from impossible angles, striking ships that tried to hide behind asteroids. Small fighter craft launched from its hull, moving faster than light itself. Each fighter was no bigger than a person, but they cut through Zephyrian. Bioships like knives through paper. Captain Ryan Blake watched from his bridge in total amazement. The fighters are made of pure energy. They're phasing through our ships without touching them, but they're tearing the enemy apart. The battle, if it could be called that, lasted exactly 1 hour and 12 minutes. The USS Eternity moved through the Zephyrian fleet like a force of nature. Its weapons operated with surgical precision, destroying military vessels while carefully avoiding any ship that broadcast surrender codes. Admiral Kate Morrison tried to understand what she was seeing. Lisa, are you getting readings on those? Weapons? Negative, Admiral. My instruments can't even detect them properly. It's like they exist in more dimensions than we can measure. The Zephyrian bioships tried everything. They fired their most powerful weapons, attempted ramming attacks, even tried to evolve new defenses in real time. Nothing worked. The USS Eternity fought like it knew exactly what the enemy would do before they did it. War Commander Ziegther watched his mighty fleet disappear ship by ship. Half his vessels were already destroyed, and the ancient human ship showed no signs of slowing down. His bioship's adaptation protocols were useless against weapons that seemed to rewrite the laws of physics. Sir, should we attempt to retreat? Asked his tactical officer. Before Ziegther could answer, space around his flagship began to ripple. The USS Eternity appeared directly in front of them, close enough to see the strange symbols carved into its hull. Ben Rogers' voice spoke directly to the war commander. Your invasion is over. Order your remaining ships to surrender, or I will finish what you started. Ziegler looked at his tactical display. Less than 3,000 ships remained of his great fleet. The human vessel had destroyed over 7,000 bioships in just over an hour. It was impossible, but it was happening. "You cannot be human," Ziegler said. "No human technology is this advanced." "We are human," Ben replied. "We're just from a time when humanity learned to protect itself properly." The war commander realized he had only one choice. His invasion was a complete failure. "All ships, stand down, cease fire, and prepare for surrender negotiations." The USS Eternity's weapons powered down, though the ship continued to glow with inner light. Around the battlefield, the few surviving Zephyrian vessels drifted in defeat. Admiral Kate Morrison opened a communication channel to the mysterious ship. "USS Eternity, this is Admiral Morrison of the Coalition Defense Force. I don't know who you are or where you came from, but thank you." "You're welcome, Admiral," Ben Rogers replied. "And don't worry. We'll make sure this never happens again." The war that was supposed to end human civilization was over. But for humanity, a new chapter was just beginning.